لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة للمتقين، والجنة للموحدين، والنار للملحدين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيبنا الممجد أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وغاصب حقوقهم وقاتليهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في قرآنه المجيد والفرقانه الحميد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. صلوات. For the past 3 nights, we've been going over how, in light of this ayah, that the only religion in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the religion of Islam, and how we as human beings should be able to perfect our religion through the events of Karbala and through the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And I've stated that practicing Islam in today's day and age is not difficult. There are 2 reasons of why we think that Islam is difficult. One is because we think of Islam as a religion rather than a way of life. And second, those laws which have been laid down within Islam, to a certain extent, we are not able to understand them. Therefore, we think of it as difficult. But at the same time, one of the brothers told me yesterday that a few days ago when I spoke about how the people were questioning Sayyid Sistani, and that I believe, or the people may believe, that I came across as that I don't like people questioning. That is far from the truth. I have always advocated and I always advise to ask questions. Ask questions in regards to everything that you're taught in regards to religion, as long as it is there to strengthen your belief and your ideology. Question the oneness of God if you have to. I'll give my own example. A few years ago, I was in London and I was having a lesson with my father, and the topic we were debating was Tawheed. And it reached a stage where my father was proving to me that there's only one God, and I was proving to my father that no, there are 2 gods. And I was coming from that point of view in regards to those who believe in more than one God. Because if we wish to debate other schools of thought, we must know their basic ideologies and the basic ways of thinking. So me and my father are sitting there debating about the oneness of God, about how there is only one God or there are more than one God. And we got so into it that we did not realize that an outsider had come and had been listening to our debate for a good 5-10 minutes. When we realized that someone was there, we looked around and he looked at us and he said that you're both kafirs. And he walked off, not realizing that my belief is in the oneness of God. I believe in the one God. But for the sake of understanding the ideologies of other schools of thought, we must take their side at times, just for the sake of strengthening our own intellect. It's the same in regards to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. If there are certain aspects of the lives of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam which you're not able to understand, then do not discard it straight away. Study it. Think over it. You have the hadith of our 5th Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam. He says, تَفَقُّهْ فِي الدِّينِ, that become thinkers in your religion. And not just in your religion, learn to become free thinkers. How many of us today can turn around and say that I am a free thinker? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us free. But how many of us are truly free thinkers? And how many of us are contained within the laws of society and within the norms of what is acceptable in society and what is not acceptable in society? From the minbar, a lot of scholars are afraid to speak about the truth or speak about what is right. Why? Because they're afraid of the backlash from the community. That if I speak about this, because the community is so enveloped within that school of thought or within that thought process, that if I bring something new, then the backlash that I face will be unbelievable. Therefore, it is better that I do not talk about it. Or, for example, there's a lot of taboo subjects within our community. But we must understand that the minbar, the Hussainiya, the masajids are there so that we learn to become free thinkers. So that we gather and rid ourselves of our issues. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first act he did once he arrived in the city of Medina was what? He gave the order to establish the mosque, Masjid al-Nabawi today. He did not give the orders to establish his house or build his house. No, he gave the orders to build a mosque. Reason for the mosque? First is a place of worship. Second, as it has been throughout time, from the time of the Holy Prophet, it was also a community center where people would gather to resolve the issues of the community. But what do we do today? We gather in the same mosques to create even more issues. The biggest issue that we face as Muslims today is our ego. And I myself have first-hand experience of it. I remember a few years ago I was in America for Moharram lectures. After the 10 days of Moharram, on the 11th night, there was a question and answer session. And people were asking me questions. All of a sudden, an elderly gentleman sitting in the corner turned around and goes, "What are you asking this person questions for? His beard is not black yet, white. His beard is still black. What does he know?" Therefore, this unfortunately is in our communities and in our society. That we think that just because someone's beard is white, he must be the most knowledgeable, or he knows everything. No. Seek knowledge from everywhere. If we wish to become better Muslims, then we must learn to educate ourselves. And educate ourselves not just in the field of Islam, but in every single field. And I always say that our biggest fault is that we have separated secular education with religious education. We must understand that secular education is religious education. All these modern day scientists and sciences that we are taught today came to us through whom? Through the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And we can give you numerous examples. Jabir ibn Hayyan al-Kufi, who is the creator of the aeronautical map, still used by pilots today, was a student of our sixth Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. Ibn Sina, Avicenna, whose book Ash-Shifa, the Canon of Law, was still taught in Western universities until the late 70s. And numerous other scientists, all students of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Al-Khwarizmi, the founder of algebra. I remember when I was studying mathematics at A levels, I would curse the founder of algebra, thinking that what has the alphabet A squared plus B squared got to do with mathematics? And why is the alphabetics in mathematics? And I would curse him. And then once I was sitting reading an article, and I realized that Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra, was in fact a lover of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And that is when my thought process changed. Then I came to the realization that everything that we know today is because of the benefit of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Everything. Therefore, and then let us look at the Ahlul Bayt. How they lived their life with humility. My question is, who had more arrogance to walk on this earth than the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? Those Ahlul Bayt. Salawat. Those Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam who had everything. Yet, the way they lived, the way they walked on this earth is an example for us. Yet we, on the other hand, the minute we get a bit of fame, we get a bit of respect, a bit of money, and we forget our origins. We start walking with the arrogance as if I own this earth. Yet let us look at the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And you wish to see what the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam had? The numerous examples. I'll give you two examples. One of our first Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. When he was in the city of Medina and he would work as a farmer for a Jew. There came a time where the Imam was in need of money and he had taken a loan from the Jew and had not been able to repay it. One day in the city of Medina on the streets, the Jew came to the Imam and said that, you owe me X amount of money and I want it right now. The Imam turned around and said that, I do not have it. And once I do, I will pay you. The Jew said, no. If you're not able to pay it right now, then I will take your sons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain Islam, as guarantees that you will pay me the money. The Imam was not able to accept that. So the Imam picked up a rock from the floor and gave it into the hands of the Jew. The minute that rock touched the hand of the Jew, it turned into gold. And the Imam told the Jew, break whatever you're in need of and give the rest back. The Jew, broke off the gold and gave the gold back to the Imam. The Imam threw the gold back onto the road, and it turned back into rock. This is the Imam. They had everything. If we wish to understand who or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is when he says kun fayakun in the Holy Quran. Kun fayakun meaning that whatever he wishes, it happens. The manifestation of kun fayakun on this earth are the 14 Ma'sumin alayhim salam. That whatever they wished, it happened. But whatever they wished was not for their own personal gain. Whatever they wished was for the betterment of Islam and the betterment of humanity. For if the Imam wanted on the day of Karbala, Imam did not need to sacrifice his family. The Imam did not need to sacrifice his 6-month-old child. The Imam had an army of thousands of angels waiting for the Imam to give them permission to go into battle. Now the famous incident of Fitros, the angel whose wings had been taken away, and on the birth of Imam Hussain Islam, as Jibreel was going down from the skies to congratulate the Holy Prophet, Fitros asked that, oh Jibreel, where are you going? Jibreel asked, I'm going, the Holy Prophet has had a grandson, and I'm going to wish the Holy Prophet congratulations on the birth of his grandchild. Fitros asked that, oh Jibreel, will you also take me? Because he no longer had the wings, because of the fact that he had disobeyed. Or he had disobeyed is not correct. He had more delayed in acting out the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are two differences. One is disobeying Allah and one is delaying the orders of Allah. The Fitros had delayed in acting out on the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as a punishment his wings had been taken away. So Fitros climbed onto the shoulders of Jibreel and came down to wish the Holy Prophet congratulations. Fitros also wished congratulations, and the Holy Prophet turned to Fitros and said, "Now rub your shoulders against the cradle of Hussain." As soon as he rubbed his shoulders against the cradle of Hussain, his wings came back. From that day on, he remained by the side of Hussain ibn Ali. And historians narrate from the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that on the day of Ashura, Fitros asked for permission from Hussain ibn Ali on numerous occasions to go into battle. Yet Hussain ibn Ali constantly denied. There reached a stage where Fitros then asked directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that, oh Allah, give me permission to go and defend Hussain ibn Ali. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Fitrus to turn around and look towards the earth. As he looked towards the earth, the head of Hussain ibn Ali was being severed. And since then, history says that Fitrus and his army of 30,000 angels are constantly protecting the haram of Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salam, as well as protecting the pilgrims who are constantly visiting the haram of Imam Hussain. And this is an example that the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are still alive. The first example that the Holy Prophet and the Ma'asumeen are alive is in the Adhan. When we say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, what does that mean? It means that I bear witness that Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that he was, that he is the Prophet of Allah. And the second is the examples that you hear of incidents from the haram, from the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Give an example which I've heard with my own ears from the haram of Imam Hussain. A few years ago I was in Iran and I went to see my teacher, Atullah Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani. When I went to see him, there was a white couple and a 7-8-year-old child sitting in the hall waiting to meet Atullah Khurasani. I went to see the Shaykh and sat down, and the Shaykh asked, Atullah Wahid said that, ask these two, what do they want? And why are they here? Because I know they're foreigners and they can't speak Farsi. So I asked them. And the Taliban said that, we've just come to meet all the Maraja, because we have heard the Holy Prophet that even looking at the face of a scholar is ibadat, and we've come to pay our respects. I translated, and Shaykh Wahid said, ask them that what made them become Shias, because I know that they were not born as Shias. So they both started speaking, and they told me the narration of the incident of how they became Shias. They said that both husband and wife were 4-star generals in the American army, and in 2003 they were sent to Iraq, and in the second or third trip that they went back, they said that we were stationed on the outskirts of the holy city of Karbala, and the event of Arba'in fell, and they said that we saw thousands upon thousands of people on a daily basis entering into the city. And we knew that the crowd was going into the millions. Yet at the same time, we also knew that the holy city of Karbala can only hold a crowd of 500,000. Yet we're seeing millions going in, and we don't know where. Well, we had a translator with us. So we asked the translator, what is happening in the holy city? That we are the military, yet we don't know what is happening. The translator said that there's a person inside the holy city who has invited all of these people. And they've all accepted his invite, and they are going to see him. And the wife said that I felt strange. That what kind of multi-billionaire is this person? That he's invited so many people and they've all accepted and they're all flocking towards him. How will we be able to cater for them or host them? And at that moment the translator goes, by the way, you're also invited. So the couple said that once we finish our time, we'll go in. So towards the end, as they were clocking out, they walked into the holy city of Karbala, and the guide started to take them towards the haram of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. As he went, and he pointed towards the golden dome and said that the person who has invited all this person lives under that dome. The wife goes, a thought came into my mind. What kind of arrogant person is this? That Iraq is in uproar. You have thousands of people dying, yet this person has the audacity to build himself a palace made out of gold. And we went in. As we entered the courtyard, he pointed towards the grave and goes, that person is buried there, and he invited these people 1400 years ago. And every year people go on his anniversary to pay their respects. But at the same time, there is one trait, one tradition, and that whoever enters into the courtyard for the first time, whatever they ask for is given to them. The wife goes, I'm not a Muslim. Will my hajat, will my wishes also be accepted? The translators go, yes, of course. Because this person is not just the Imam of the Muslims, but the Imam of all of humanity. And he accepts, he listens to everyone. So the wife goes that, I had been married to my husband for 15 years, but had not been able to provide him with a child. And I knew that my husband was thinking of divorcing me and remarrying so that he could have an offspring. I prayed that to Imam Hussain Islam that he gives me a child. She goes, as soon as our term in Iraq finished and we flew back to America, as soon as we got into America, I found out that I was pregnant. And the Imam had given me a son. As soon as I became pregnant, we both became followers of Imam Hussain Islam. And we left our job in the military and we now go around practicing the religion of Hussain ibn Ali. Until Wahid asked, so I asked them, what do you do now? The couple replied that we have our own business, but every year from the 1st of Moharram till the 40th of Hussain ibn Ali, we go to Iraq. We stay in Karbala and we are busy, we keep ourselves busy cleaning the washrooms in the Haram of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, because that is the only thing we think ourselves worthy of. This is our Imam. These are our Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. That whatever you are in need of, go to them and you will be given it. It does not matter what creed, what culture, what race you are from. Why? Because the Imams are the Imam of all of creation. And the ayats of the Holy Quran prove it. The incident in regards to Hazrat Ibrahim when he was made an Imam. That today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that today I have made you an Imam over mankind. The Imams are Imam of all of creation. And it is our responsibility to propagate this message. But for that, we have to educate ourselves. In every aspect of life. And going back onto education. There's a book which is a collection of articles written by scientists from the University of Paris. The title of the book is called The Superman of Islam. The first edition was called The Superman of Islam. The second edition was renamed as The Super Brain of Islam. These are all articles written by non-Muslim scientists in regards to the scientific teachings of our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. Therefore, realize that everything that we have has been given to us by the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Secular education is religious education, but at the same time, the same way that parents are placing importance upon secular education for the children. They're providing tutors for the children in sciences and mathematics and English and every other subject. At the same time, provide tutors for them in regards to Islam. So that they're able to, as long as they know the basics of Islam and are able to differentiate between what is wrong and what is right in Islam, you have nothing to worry about. A lot of parents ask that, Maulana, I'm afraid for the future of my child. That, living in a Western society, living in a society which is un-Islamic, how do I make sure that they grow up to be religious? Or for example, practicing Muslims. As long as you know that you have taught them the basics of Islam, and at the same time you have taught them what is right and what is wrong, and you have taught them how to differentiate between the two, then you have nothing to worry about. Leave the rest in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah never misguides His creations. And at the same time, those who have wishes, the best hajat, the best wish to ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the recitation of Surah Al-Hamd. Surah Al-Hamd is the greatest dua and it's the greatest of hajats. What is Surah Al-Hamd? That we are blessing the might and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us onto the path of those who He has guided, and protect this from the path of those who he has not guided. What better dua do we need? What better hajat do we need? This hajat has everything in it. And another example is Zat Ashura. We recite Allahumma jal mahyaya mahya Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa mamati mamata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. That, oh Allah, keep us alive on the path of Muhammad and his holy progeny, and if we were to die, then we die on the path of the Holy Prophet and his holy progeny. That is all that we need in this life to be successful. And like I said in my first lecture, that we keep the Ahlul Bayt as our role models, the least will become like the companions of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam. And those faithful companions of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam who are still remembered today 1400 years on. We can all become like Salman Farsi. In regards to him, the Holy Prophet said, Salman minna Ahlul Bayt. That Salman is a part of my Ahlul Bayt. How is Salman a part of the Holy Prophet's progeny? He isn't related to the Holy Prophet, neither by blood or through marriage. But he is classified as a part of the Holy Prophet's progeny through his behavior and his belief in the religion of the Holy Prophet. And the question is, can we not do the same? And the answer is yes. We practice our religion according to the teaching of the Holy Prophet. And the simple is Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. Not advise one ourselves and others to do good and follow the teaching of the Holy Prophet. And know that they are the best of creations. In regards to the Holy Prophet, 2 non-Muslims have written articles. One is George Bernard Shaw, an economist and one of the founding fathers of LSE, London School of Economics. He writes that if in today's society we wish to rid the world of oppression and tyranny, we need a personality like Muhammad. But at the same time, I'd like to add a sentence. The same time that we need a personality like Muhammad, we also need a personality like Ali, who protected religion. We also need a personality like Hussain, who died to save that religion. This is George Bernard Shaw, non-Muslim. Second is Owen Hart, who's written a book called The 100 Most Influential Men in the History of Mankind. And at number 1, he's written the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the most influential man. And on this, he was asked questions by the non-Muslims, because Owen Hart himself is a practicing Christian. And at the church, he was asked that, how is it that you have written Muhammad as the most influential man, yet you are a follower of Jesus? Owen Hart replies that, because firstly, I have not seen anything different between Jesus and Muhammad. And second, Muhammad came down in a society where ignorance was at its peak. And he spread the message of truth, the message of the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way that had it been false, Islam would not have spread the way it has today. Islam today is the fastest growing religion on earth. The Quran is the most sold book on earth. Just take these 2 examples and think about it. That Islam, why is Islam the fastest growing religion on earth? How is it the fastest growing religion on earth? And what is so special about the Holy Quran? That it is the most sold book in the world, as well as the most translated book. And you'll understand that because they both live their lives according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, Islam is under attack more from within Muslims than from external enemies. I remember after 9/11 attacks, the Americans published a Quran called the True Furqan, in which they had taken all messages of all the ayats of love and peace away and only kept the message ayats of violence. And I tried to propagate and started to distribute it for free at all the Western universities. I still have a copy of it. Yet, they forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and his promise, that you plan and we shall also plan, and surely we are the best of planners. And know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect his religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And that we have nothing to fear about. What we need to fear about is protecting our own faith. That we're more worried about the harams and the shrines being attacked? No. Worry about our beliefs being attacked and our faith being attacked. And how the enemy may overpower us because of our weakening in our faith. I will say to that the same way. I'm an architect. I'll give you an example of a building. That if I was to build a skyscraper or a tall tower, first thing I would do is make sure that the foundations are strong. The foundations are strengthened so that no matter what I build on the foundation, it will stand. If I build a foundation for a 2-story building and build a 10-story building on it, know that within 5-10 years the building will collapse. It's the same with us. Our faith, our iman are our foundations. We need to make sure that we strengthen our iman in such a way that no matter what is put on it, it remains steadfast. No matter what is thrown at our faith, we remain steadfast. Not that we end up questioning our beliefs. And our belief is what? 5. Tawheed, Adl, Nubuwwat, Imamat, and Qiyamat. And 3 of them are solid. Tawheed, Nubuwwat, and Qiyamat. Every single Muslim in existence believes in these 3 foundations. The oneness of God, the Prophet of 124,000 prophets, and the Day of Judgment. Where we differ as lovers of the Ahlul Bayt is in the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the imamat of the 12 imams. This is where we differ. And in basic terms, if you wish to understand why we differ, we believe that the greatest attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is his justice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has how many names? Asma al-Husna. 99 or 1,000. If you recite Dua Josh and Kabir, it's 1,000. Every single one of his names are his attributes. And justice is the greatest attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through whom all other characteristics and attributes come into existence. Second is imamat. What is imamat? In basic terminology, imamat is the protection of prophethood and the message of the Holy Prophet. That was, if in today's society, the job specification of an imam was to protect the Holy Prophet and his message. And if we look at the holy imams, the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they did not bring anything new about. What was haram during the time of the Holy Prophet was haram during the time of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. What was wajib during the time of the Holy Prophet was wajib during the time of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. They did not bring anything new, because the Holy Prophet had completed Islam by bringing the laws of Islam. The Imam's job was to protect those laws and to expand upon those laws. Because as time goes, our intellect and our mind changes, and our understanding of religion changes. Therefore, the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam changed, but the foundation remained the same. That foundation being the teachings of the Holy Prophet. And those teachings will remain until the Day of Judgment. The same way that the Quran and the ayats of the Holy Quran will remain until the Day of Judgment. But our understanding of the Holy Quran changes. And all of you can experiment with this. Read the Holy Quran. Read a specific ayat. Any ayat of the Holy Quran. Experiment. And read it on a daily basis with understanding. Or read the translation of it for the first time so that you understand the ayat. And then ponder upon it. I guarantee and I challenge you that your understanding of that ayat will change. Why? Because your intellect is increasing. Atullah Jawadi Amuli right now is writing his 6th tafsir of the Holy Quran. And all 6 of the tafsirs are completely separate and completely different to each other. And he writes it. That every time I study the Holy Quran, I understand a different aspect of it. Every time I read any ayat of the Holy Quran, I understand a different aspect because my mindset at that time is not the same as it was previous. And I say the same in regards to the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. That whenever you study an ayat of the Holy hadith of the Ahlul Bayt as well as an ayat of the Holy Quran, your understanding of it will change. Salawat. Your understanding of it will constantly be changing. Because my intellect is constantly increasing. Now you understand the hadith of the Holy Prophet, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. That we are constantly in the process of educating ourselves. But once again, it comes down to there are two types of education, there are two types of knowledge. One is knowledge which is good for us and for our betterment. One is the type of knowledge which will destroy us. And that exists in all lines of field. For example, those who have heard of black magic within Islam. Black magic is used and written using the ayat of the Holy Quran. Yet, those who have the knowledge of it, use it to destroy mankind, have used it to destroy society. Yet at the same time, you use the same ayat of the Holy Quran, that same Quran, to protect yourself against it. So it is up to us to decide whether I wish to use knowledge so that I'm able to become a better Muslim, or do I wish to use that knowledge to become someone who is respected within society, which may not necessarily go hand in hand with Islam. This is where we need to make the choice. And the perfect example of that is Hur. That Hur is that same general who stopped the caravan of Hussain ibn Ali from going towards Kufa. Hur is that same general who stopped the camp of Hussain ibn Ali from camping near the Furat. Yet, up until the day of Ashura, Hur was guaranteed hell. Guaranteed hell. Yet, that night of the 10th, where he spent pondering upon his life, made him choose heaven. You have another example of Umar ibn Sa'ad. When Imam Hussain asked Umar ibn Sa'ad on the eve of Ashura, that, O son of Sa'ad, do you not know who I am? Do you not know who my father was? Do you not know who my mother was? Do you not know who my grandfather was? Umar ibn Sa'ad replied, yes, I do. I know that your father was Ali Amir al-Mu'mineen. I know that your mother was Fatima al-Zahra. I know that your grandfather was the Holy Prophet of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yet, what can I do? I have been promised the government of Ray. Therefore, Umar ibn Sa'ad went after worldly gifts. And you also know the promise of Hussain ibn Ali. Then know this, O Umar ibn Sa'ad, that you will not even be able to smell the air of Ray. And we study history, we see that, and that is what happened. Therefore, everything is in our own hands. Whether we want to become Ashraf al-Makhluqat, the best of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creations, or not. It's all in our hands. The decision is ours. And at the same time, know this, that on the day of judgment, you cannot use the excuse that shaitan made me do it. Because shaitan will only be punished for one sin. And that was disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rest, he'll say, yes, I whispered into their ears. I did not force them. Therefore, know that shaitan on the day of judgment will only be punished for one sin. We, on the other hand, will be punished for all of our sins, whatever we done. Therefore, like I said, that calculate, hold ourselves accountable for all of our deeds, and tweak our deeds. Make the mind differences so that we're able to become better human beings. And that is what our jihad is. That how to become better human beings in today's 21st century, when we are being attacked from all directions in regards to how we practice our religion. This is the biggest war that we're all facing. That how am I able to practice my religion? That the youth say that my friends, they go to clubs and this and that, yet I feel left out, or they see me in a different light. No, explain to them the situation. I've been through everything. I graduated from a Western university. I know what you're going through. I know what you will go through. And it comes down to, where do you see yourselves? How do you see yourselves? And on the day of judgment, how do you want to see yourselves in front of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam? Today we gather to remember a lady who was not present in Karbala, but her 4 sons were. She goes by the name of al-Baneen, the mother of sons. The history of al-Baneen is that after the martyrdom of Fatima Zahra salamullah alayhi, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam wanted to remarry. And he went to his brother Aqil, saying that, oh Aqil, find me a woman from a tribe who is famous for its bravery and its valor. Because I need a representative who, when the time comes, will able to protect the religion of the Holy Prophet as my sacrifice. The event of Karbala is a series of sacrifices of different personalities. Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salam himself is the sacrifice of the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ali Akbar is the sacrifice of Hussain ibn Ali. Awna Muhammad are the sacrifices of Bibi Zainab salamullah alayhi. Therefore in the Karbala everyone had a sacrifice. The sacrifice and the representative of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam was Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Now he asked Aqil, who was famous for his knowledge in Arab genealogy. He went and came back to Amir al-Mu'mineen and said that I found a daughter of the Bani Kilab tribe who are known for their valor and the bravery. The girl's name is Fatima, and if you wish, I will send your proposal. Amir al-Mu'mineen accepted and sent his proposal through Janab Aqil. Janab Aqil, when he went to the house and he presented the proposal of Amir al-Mu'mineen to the father. The father got up and he went to see both his wife and his daughter. As he entered into the room, he saw that his daughter was narrating her dream to her mother, a dream that she had seen the night before. The dream was that, oh mother, I see that I'm sitting in a garden with trees, green trees and flowers and rivers flowing, and I'm looking towards the sky and thinking about the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When all of a sudden I see the bright moon coming down from the skies and coming into my lap. And after the moon, I see that 4 stars have also come down and are resting in my lap. I do not know what this means. She asked the mother for explanation. The father goes, I have the explanation for you. The explanation for you is that the moon is the person you will marry. And in regards to that, I just have a message that Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam has sent his proposal of marriage to you. And the 4 stars are your children. Fatima is happy and she goes towards her room. But the father is worried. And he asks the mother that Amir al-Mu'mineen has asked for her hand. Is she worthy of going into the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Is she worthy of going into the house of Fatima Zahra salamullah alayhi? The mother replies that I have trained her in the best of manners. I have trained her with all the respect for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. History says that they were married, and the day that Fatima came into the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the first act that she did was to gather the sons of and the children of Fatima to Zahra, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain Islam, Bibi Zainab and Bibi Kulthum. And the first thing that she told them was that I have not come into this house to replace your mother. I have come into this house as your servant. And respect me and treat me in the same way. And that teaching she passed on to her sons. That she taught her 4 children to never call the children of Fatima to Zahra their brothers and sisters. She taught Abu al-Fadl Abbas that Hussein will always be your master. Never think of him as your brother. Zainab will always be your mistress. Never think of her as your sister. And that is how Abu al-Fadl Abbas lived his whole life. You have the numerous examples during the youth of Abu al-Fadl Abbas. That Abu al-Fadl Abbas would always walk 2 steps behind Hussein ibn Ali. He would always walk 2 steps behind Imam Hassan alayhi salam. This was the respect that he was taught, though they were brothers and sisters. Yet al-Baneen, the mother of 4 lions, after the events of Karbala, when the caravan comes back into the city, al-Baneen goes running towards the caravan. The first question she asked is not of her sons, but of Hussein ibn Ali. She is told that Hussein ibn Ali had been martyred. Second question that she asks is that when Hussein ibn Ali was martyred, where were my sons Abu al-Fadl Abbas and his brothers? She's given the reply that her sons had been killed whilst protecting Hussein ibn Ali. al-Baneen goes, that is enough for me. After that, history said that she never wept for her sons but Hussein ibn Ali. And that she would always mourn in the cemetery of Baqi. And she would lament and recite poetry in such a situation, in such a way, that even the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim Islam would join her in the morning. This is al-Baneen, the mother of Abu al-Fadl Abbas, the mother of Abdullah, the mother of Ja'far, the mother of Uthman. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li'amrih. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. اللهم اغن كل فقير، اللهم اشف كل جائع، اللهم اكس كل عريان، اللهم اقض دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل عسير، اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من امور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقض عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر، انك على كل شيء قدير. صلوات.